Here in Alderney, the weather has changed, and tomorrow there is a window to sail into Torquay and Dartmouth. It's 69 nautical miles to Torquay, crossing the eastbound and the westbound shipping lanes, which proved to be a lot busier than I expected. Having AIS displayed on my chart plotter and knowing that Golden Haze was transmitting an AIS signal as well made it pretty straightforward, and the main problem for most of the day was a lack of wind. In fact, Alderney Bray to Torquay Marina is a straight line, and Tor Bay is a pretty easy place to enter.
Golden Haze, Torquay Marina.
Yeah, go ahead, Torquay.
Yeah, if you'd like to go to Bravo 45, that's B45, over.
Yeah, roger that. How do I get there? I've never been here before.
If you turn hard to port, once you come through the harbour entrance, follow the inside of the harbour wall round, the pontoon, the row of boats on your starboard side is on B pontoon. You need to go round the end of B, between B and C, and B45 is just up on your right hand side, and that's port side 2 going in bow first, over.
Okay, B45 on the far side of pontoon B.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
I sometimes find it difficult to manoeuvre around a strange marina and locate the exact pontoon place to park up at. With someone on the bows, it's much easier, as by the time I can see the number and the end of the pontoon from the cockpit, the bows have already passed it. This was pretty easy, as it was a downwind berth and the numbers here are clearly displayed. A high number suggests the far end of the pontoon, and the harbour master gave me clear, concise instructions. Thank you. Torquay Marina is the motorboat capital of the UK south coast. It seems to be the marina of choice for very large luxury motor yachts, large and medium-sized motor yachts, and even small motor yachts. Other than Cannes or Nice, I don't think I've ever seen a marina so much given over to motorboats. Here in Torquay, they are by far the majority of the berth holders, followed closely by rows of jet skis, which clearly enjoy the calm, protected waters of Tor Bay. Just across a public footpath are the separate marina offices and facilities, which are fine. Sadly, the design is pretty dated, with no proper independent facilities, and nothing compared to Bewley or Brighton. I get the feeling that the owners of all the luxury motor yachts don't use this facility, and so the Torquay Marina Company can't be bothered to modernise them. Just down the path from the Dockmaster and Marina offices, there are a bunch of restaurants on the quayside. More or less the only ones in the area, including in the town, and probably catering mainly to the wealthy clients from the marina. All pretty generic and serving fairly basic meals at somewhat inflated prices. The town, sadly, is long past its glory days, and the only groceries, supermarket I could find was just past GS Sports, about 10 minutes walk. It's called Premier, and it has an OK range, and as it's the only game in town, it's the place to head for unless you've got a motor car. It's a 2-hour motor round to Dartmouth, and I took the shortcut between the Mewstone and the mainland, which gave me quite a good lift from the tide.
Okay, so it's a hot day in the middle of July, heading into Dartmouth. Yes, there are lots of offline rocks and things, but they're very well charted and shown, and the approach is actually very straightforward and fine. When you get towards the town, yes, I think that actually does become a little more challenging.
Having done so much motoring, getting fueled up seems like the most important thing so that I could make an early morning departure back to France. Neither my pilot book nor my chart plotter gave an exact position for the fuel barge other than to assure me that it existed in the river.
It's got a blue topsides and it says fuel on it and it's covered in flags. So my guess is that's the fuel dock. Dark fuel, golden haze, do you copy? Obviously doesn't. Can I come this side? Can I come here? That side. Okay.
There's a fairly strong current running in the Dart, and I think it's always better to come alongside into the current, whatever the wind is doing. So I needed to complete a total 360 to get my much needed fuel supply.
Okay, it's a bit of tide running.
Having spent the last 15 years all over the Mediterranean, I find it very strange the way customers are treated in the UK sailing world. In almost all med-marinas, a marinero will come down to the pontoon and take your lines when you arrive. At fuel berths, there are lines laid out on the pontoon so you don't have to use your own, and the marinero will help you moor up and he'll bring the fuel hose to your boat. Frequently he'll bring the credit card machine as well, so you don't actually ever have to get off. And there's always a supply of paper towels to mop out any spillage and a rubbish bin to put it in.
Marina, Golden Haze, do you copy over?
Golden Haze, Marina, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, Just. I'm a 10-metre sailing boat. Do you have a berth for me for a couple of nights?
Golden Haze, unfortunately we're absolutely full today, over.
Okay, copy that. Thanks very much. Golden Haze out. Nos Marina, Golden Haze, do you copy over?
Haze, this is Nos Marina, go ahead, over.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I'm a 10-metre sailing boat. Would you have a berth for me for a couple of nights, over?
Haze, Nos Marina, I'm afraid we're fully booked for the next night or two, over.
Okay, I'm a total stranger here. You haven't got any berths. Dart Marina said they haven't. Is there anywhere else I can go?
Either Dart Marina, Dart Haven Marina, sorry, or Ring Dart Harbour, over.
And do you think they might have berths, yeah?
It's definitely worth a try, they normally have a few, over.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Golden Haze standing by. This is Darthaven Marina, not strictly in Dartmouth, it's on the other side of the river, a place called, I think it's called Keyhaven, Darthead, well, Keyhaven, I don't know. Anyway, really nice marina, very surprised. Sailed in here yesterday and eventually found the fuel barge, which is a full, no-service fuel barge. When you arrive there, there's no one to help you take a line, nobody to help. You have to carry the pump hose a considerable distance yourself, and it has the pleasure of being almost entirely unhelpful. So I filled up and discovered it was red diesel, which is bad news because that's actually illegal in France, but there you go. And then I proceeded to try and find a marina berth, and I motored up and down the River Dart asking at various marinas, all of which were fully booked. Couldn't believe it. I don't know, the world, I'm getting old or something, the world's changed. There was a time I just went sailing and at the end of the day I put in somewhere and tied up. Now I need to book in advance. Anyway, I'm feeling grumpy because whilst apparently all of Britain is suffering a heat wave, here it's 17 degrees, black clouds, grey, cold, and I'm wearing a polo, a gilet and my woolly jacket, and it still feels chilly. Anyway, the good news is that Darthaven is the place to be. So much nicer than any of the other marinas here that, as I remember, which, you know, Dartmouth is pretty full on. And here it's lovely, absolutely lovely, peaceful, quiet, and very, very modern. The Wi-Fi is excellent. The place is incredibly secure. There's a travel lift, there's a boatyard. I'm delighted with the place, absolutely delighted.
The marina offices and facilities are at the top of the main pontoon, and there's a breakfast afternoon tea van just next door.
Morning.
If you walk towards the back of the boatyard, there's a metal bridge over the railway line which leads to a grocery store, pubs, and the ferry into Dartmouth. This charming steam train runs a regular schedule between Paignton and Kingswear, a real blast from the past. At the end of the bridge, just across the road, is the convenience store, which is a bit like a TARDIS, with an excellent choice of wines to ready meals, as well as fresh vegetables and tinned foods. The ferry is owned by the same company as the steam train and runs from the end of the road to Dartmouth, as does the council ferry. With a crossing time of 10 minutes, it's easy to get into the main town and join the madding crowd of this lovely but overcrowded town. At my website, gentlesailing.com, you can find my books about sailing and boats. French Canal Routes to the Mediterranean has sold over 3,000 copies, and the Gentle Sailing Route to the Med, down the Atlantic coast without having to spend a night at sea, has sold over 2,700 copies. The Atlantic Crossing Guide, which I published last year, is being downloaded in amazing numbers, I'm really pleased to say. They're all instant PDF downloads, and there's a link to a UK website that can turn them into printed books for around £5 if that's what you prefer. gentlesailing.com. About a dozen books there, including guides to the Caribbean and crossing the Pacific. Fair winds.